Just get a job now. Don't even bother. It doesn't happen without the hard work. I don't know anybody that's built anything sustainable that didn't go through a period of eating shit. We literally laughed at our friend that tried to get us to move to EXP initially, and that cost me millions of dollars. I want to make people feel like they're better off for having known me. And if I could just keep it at that, I'm probably doing good.
Hey, hold up. Before we get back to the episode, make sure you like and follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It means the world to us. And don't forget to turn on that little notification bell so that you get an alert every single time we drop a new episode. If you want to really go hardcore, go binge some of our past episodes, and please leave a 5-star review. All right, back to the episode. Welcome back to the Real Estate Untucked podcast. And today we have the man that walks on water, Kevin Kaufman. He walks on water, wears sandals. Real estate investor, influencer, co-founder of the Group 4610 Network, one of the most successful real estate teams in the entire nation. No joke. With over 35 homes sold in the last 5 minutes, I think. They've sold a lot. You built an amazing reputation for your ability to recruit high-performing teams. You host the Next Level Agents podcast. And man, you're going to share all the good secrets, right? You do that on your podcast. You guys dive into everything. I love that we're going to dive into all the stuff, man. Relationships, recruiting, how to build a team that thrives, how to succeed in this whole freaking world. But before we get into all that, I just love this dude. So Kevin is one of those guys that I've appreciated you and your not just your friendship, but how you show up for over a decade and a half that we've known each other. You just consistently show up as the real freaking deal, whether it's a big room, whether it's a little room, whether it's somebody that's just thinking about getting their life together, or somebody that's crushed it. So, seriously, from my heart to yours, you're one of the guys that I could call and be like, I'm having a shitty day. I think I just need a hug. And you would be right there. You know what I mean? I know you would. Or if I'd be like, hey, I need to build, a multi-level, whatever. You'd be like, all right, let's do that too. Just a generally amazing dude that does what you say you're going to do and backs up with action. So you're the man. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for spending time with us.
Dude, thank you. I'm glad to be here, and I feel honored by what you said, dude. It means a lot.
No, you're the real deal.
So you haven't listened to our podcast, because he starts out every podcast the same way. So I didn't want to take that away from you.
No, it doesn't matter. I allow myself to be fooled by people. I'm here for it.
I just accept all the love.
I love marketing. I love words, and I allow them to be used against me at all times.
There you go. There you go. I love it. Okay, so just for everybody listening, will you give us a brief bio so they know you're legit? Just kind of give us the last 15 years real quick and where you are right now.
Yeah, I'll go back a few more because I always like to over-deliver. So it'll go 18 years. So I got licensed May of 2007, which I don't know what it was like for you guys in your markets, but in Phoenix, it's not going well. And I quite literally, I had friends literally try to stop me, tell me no, don't do that. That's a mistake. Do not quit your job and get into real estate. And I was like, let's go. I'm definitely a ready, fire. Okay, I should aim type of guy. And so that's what I did with my real estate career. But I got in the middle of 2007. My third transaction ever was a short sale. Couple more regular closings that year. And then the next.
These short sales were so fun. Remember the hell of that? I mean,
No,
that was
Dude,
all in. I know you did. I know you did, you freak of nature. You
like to argue. I like to argue with people.
You probably eat shrimp tails.
No, I do not. I know, no seafood. But I like beating people. I like beating that. It was here's short sales are just a math problem that you had to talk about with stupid people. And so it was really meaning the employees at the banks in most cases. And so it was a challenge. It just was an argument. It was fun, but I loved it. My next 1,000 or so deals were pretty much all short sales, probably 97% short sales for my first couple of years in real estate. And I loved it. I've got a business partner, Fred. Him and I started working together February of 2008. We started building a team that looked very much like your regular kind of MREA real estate team, if you will, except that all of our listings were short sales for the first few years. And then, that's changed and evolved. Over the years, our team has taken on many different makeovers, I think would be the right word. And everything from him and I back into production ourselves for a little while in 2013 and 14 to then deciding to go big and expanding outside of the Phoenix market. And at one point having almost 100 agents on the team, probably over 7 or 8 markets, and just trying to take things that way to this day to, fast forward to 2025. We primarily serve Phoenix, but we still have our first expansion location, which is Denver, Colorado, which we launched in the fourth quarter of 2014. There's only 2 agents there, so we do 20 deals or so a year there, nothing crazy. But we primarily focus on Phoenix, and that's what our real estate team looks like today. It's probably about 15 of us total. But literally, as of like the last 7 days, Fred and I are sort of back in the team leader mode and actually recruiting to the team. And so that'll grow. That'll grow.
Are real estate teams dead? Like, is it like the most messed up thing to go chase down is to build a real estate team? Or what's your take? Like what, like,
it is for
here's
some
why I
people.
like asking you, because you've done every version of it. So I just kind of want to know, like, let's talk about the shit nobody talks about. Like, what was the biggest, untruth that you chased? And like, what have you kind of recognized as true or would you pursue now in a sense?
The biggest untruth I chased was that I believe was like specialization. I felt like I had to have buyer's agents and listing agents, and that had to be separate. And once I got over that and actually started asking better questions, that completely changed my business.
Wow.
But to go to the heart of the first question, I don't know. I don't think real estate teams are dead. I think I'm going to say solo agents or kind of solo agent businesses are definitely booming with technology and virtual assistants. There's a lot of ways for people to be really productive and very profitable. And that said, I would never want that business. Like, get me the hell away from that. My goal was always like, how do I get further and further away from sitting in somebody's living room to take their listing? Like, that was my goal.
So
that was
why?
Over and above.
Are you making more money and have more free time now? Or like, why did you want to do that?
I did that because I didn't want a business I didn't want my paycheck to depend on me sitting in someone's living room. That was I wanted a life. I want to work Monday through Friday, and I want to go home when I want to go home.
So do you have a better life than your agents? Did you achieve that?
I mean, for me, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody, that's my idea. Here's something I firmly believe. I think we should determine the relationship we want with our business. We should determine what it is we want our business to bring us and then act appropriately. For me, the number one thing has always been, at least maybe not always, but it has been since my now 12-year-old was still inside my wife, has been time over money. Time is by far my number one priority. That's my North Star. And I remember Fred and I took a look at each other and we had a real conversation. We said, hey, I'm willing to make less money for a couple more years if you are, in order to build this out to basically give us the business and life that we wanted. And we did. We were, you hear Gary Vee say the proverbial, you got to be willing to eat shit for a couple of years. Like, don't get me wrong. So go back 10, 12 years. We're probably making 150 each a year. Nothing wrong with that. It's not like we're clipping coupons, especially, take away 10 years of inflation. However, also not the dream of why people get in real estate. Right. You don't really get in real estate going, I want a ceiling of $150,000. Like that's not it. But we saw it as an exchange for something bigger and better in the future. And so we did.
Well, let me ask you, I got a question real quick, because I 100% agree with you. Like, you have to create the life that you want to have. How would you talk to an agent, let's go less than 5, maybe less than 3, but less than 5 years, that legitimately is like trying to create that without putting the hard work to have the ability to make the decision? Like, they're trying to project the life they want without doing the hard work that's going to get them to the spot that they can make the decision. It happens all the fucking time to me.
Just go get a job. Just get a job now. Don't even bother. It doesn't happen without the hard work. It doesn't. I don't know anybody that's built anything sustainable that didn't go through a period of eating shit on some level where they just got consistently punched in the face.
Yeah. I mean, eating shit's one of my 7 courses I eat every day. Actually, I didn't know that was like a thing that happens, but yeah.
It's actually with Secretary Kennedy, it's now at the top of the food pyramid, actually.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's no dies, which is great.
Which is great.
Well, and here's the thing, Kevin, I think that's great about you is like, you actually thought like a business owner, which is like, hey, I'm building this thing. We're going to do it the right way. It's going to take time. Like, you weren't adding people to your team to just like, so you could go escape. In a sense, you built it. You're adding people and building them up to actually build a phenomenal organization and a better world. Like, you're actually doing it like a business owner and not just like, a Yahoo winging it out.
Yes. 100%. Like, I had the fortune of being around some like actual business people who spoke into my life about real estate and about business. And I don't know. I just was like, yes, that's what I want. Like, that's what I'm going after.
So what was the biggest fuck up in the last decade? And what'd you learn from
Bro,
it?
it's not, I got number one. It's not going to sound, people are going to go, yeah, whatever, but this is the most expensive mistake by a mile. And so I'm just going to share it. We literally laughed at our friend that tried to get us to move to EXP initially. And that cost me millions of dollars, literally cost me millions of dollars. And so so I guess if you wanted to take away, oh, that's a pitch for EXP, having a closed mind like that was that's the biggest mistake I've ever made without a close second.
So I'm always curious. I'm independent. I know everybody has their own affiliations and whatnot. So no stab here, but what's kept you from going to the next one? What's kept you from going to LPT or Real or something like that to make sure you didn't miss the wave? Because that's what I feel like a lot of people are trying to get on.
Because there's no wave there. People, I think that's imaginary. The wave was EXP created a new category.
Mm-hmm.
It was true. There was this, I'll say, ground floor opportunity, because that's what people like to use, which is so dumb, but that was real. That was an actual thing that ended up so long ago that people just don't understand. But here's what I will share with you, Brad. Because of my experience of realizing I cost myself millions of dollars by having a closed mind, I've been very open-minded about those companies and taken a look. Because I've had, I've got friends at every company.
Sure.
And I've certainly been approached by agents at all of the copycats of EXP. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to take a look, because I know how to recruit. I know how to build a community. I firmly believe I could redo that anywhere, but to a certain degree. I think I caught the tail end of the early wave. And so maybe I couldn't recreate the exact group I have today, but I could recreate a well-paying group for sure. But when I take the time to examine those companies, like, I haven't seen anything compelling to me.
Sure. Yeah. No, I was just always curious because, I mean, it feels like a lot of them are trying to get to the ground level as soon as one opens. And it's just, I'm the same way. I am a whore. You can fly me around the world. I will listen to what you got to sell and how it's going to work. And we'll take the good with the bad, because I don't think I have the best product ever. Like, I'm sure there's better people out there, but it's always good to learn. So I think it's a good one. And that's a good example to tell people in general in real estate. I think so many people are closed-minded when it comes to either companies or business models or even getting business, that they get in their own way. So you're right. That's probably the hardest lesson anybody's had to learn, is being closed-minded.
Kevin, what are some of your favorite like vetting questions? Like, you get approached with a lot of opportunities, a lot of companies, a lot of like, hey, come to this thing. Just like, what are some of your favorite ways to like vet, like either like a person, a company, an opportunity?
I think it's, for me, it's just about getting to know the people first. Like, honestly, it's one of the scripts that we teach the agents on the team, which is tell me more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just open-ended questions, like, tell me more. And, if it's about a person, then just, I don't know, I'm probably pretty naturally, it's actually one of my natural gifts, if you will, is kind of discovering those things about people, because I'm just so curious.
Yeah.
And if it's about a company, I'm just like, cool, show me. Like, I'm open and I've got a pretty healthy bullshit detector. So
Yeah.
like, I can read. Turns out I know math. And so, at least enough anyways. And so I'm like, cool. So, like, paint me a picture, show me the story, show me the numbers, but like, don't tell me a story, show it to me. Like, show me the proof.
Well, this is not a scripted question, but it's just leading that way. And we can cut it out, because I don't mean to do anything derogatory to any company, but I think there's some truth that needs to be spread out there a little bit. Like, how's this market going to affect the copycat EXP model? Because I feel like, and I'm going to get some hater mail for this shit, that like, it is just,
I hope so. But let's put Brad's address at the bottom of the screen while it's going. Yeah. Give him the home address. Yeah. Please send Brad a bag of dicks. Brad, did you send me a boob squishy one time? I feel like that was from you. Was that you?
No, asshole.
I think I have that somewhere. By the
No,
way,
I have it.
when
I have it.
your 6-year-old walks in the room with a boob squishy and you're just like, Brad Allen, I think that's where this comes from. Like, it's just hard to explain to friends. You know what I mean? People are over at your house and there's just, boob squishies laying around. So it's a little weird. So please send hate mail to Brad.
No. You know what I get from Wayne? I get coloring books. I get coloring books that say, well, I can't say them on here, but it's interesting when your 6-year-old comes into the office and goes, Dad, you got a coloring book. And it goes, hey, Dad, what's a cunt? I was like, no. Don't say that word. Don't say cunt. Don't do that. But that's what I get from Wayne. Shut the fuck up, Buttercups. That's what I get.
This was not on my bingo board for like where this podcast was going. I got to be honest. I love it.
We all say love in different ways. You know what I mean? And we just gotta go there. We just gotta go there. Lord,
So
all right,
mail,
Brad, back to hating on real estate brokerages worldwide.
What was the question you asked, Brad?
Yeah, I don't even know anymore because I have a squishy boob on my nightstand that I can't throw away because my kids like playing with it. My wife wants to know why I have that from a guy named Wayne. So no, I play with it. But anyways, so I like to take away what you said earlier, that you've had makeovers in your business. So in this market with what it is, I got an 06, right? So we've had to have a lot of makeovers in our business. And a lot of people think that the company is the makeover they need. So my question is, how are these copycat EXPs that are pretty much scraping the barrel on splits and everything? How do you think they're going to make it through this? You think they'll make it because everybody will flock to them? Or you think everybody's going to not flock to them and leave them because they don't have the content or the support or the skill set to help them through it?
Well, I think there's a lot of things at play. Here's what I do know. I know that EXP is the only one that's like proven, profitable, sustainable, fully scaled. So everyone else is trying to play catch up. Playing catch up is really hard when you don't have the talent, meaning like executive wise, and you don't nor if you don't have the, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the executive team that's in touch with the actual realtors on the ground floor, like that those are all hard things. I think not being, scaled right now is hard and costing people a lot of money. Last couple of years have been rough for most companies. And I mean, I don't know. I'm not here to say who's going to make it and who's not, but I have definitely observed some of the companies like continuously changing their fee structure, just doing little things like raising fees here, raising fees there, which I get, like, because if you're going to run at a loss on purpose for a while, like eventually one day you have to at least attempt to make a profit. And so that's going to make changes, and then that probably upsets people that you made certain promises to. And so all that to say, I don't know. What I do know is that when I look at other companies, I don't see, there's nothing there that makes me scream, they're going to make it and this is the place to be at all. And so I don't know. Hopefully they'll make it. Maybe they will, maybe they won't.
Do you think, I think a lot of them are doing it to maybe bundle their numbers so they can get bought by hedge funds? Or or somebody to come in like market equity? Cause like you can only run a loss for you can only give free car washes and dental and free vaccines to your horses as part of your perks for so long. So like, that's the only thing I'm thinking is maybe they're gonna be bundled to a hedge fund or I don't know, be gobbled up by somebody else.
And and I think about that like, okay, cool. And then when they do that, like I can promise you all that shit goes away.
Yeah. Oh, the owners are gone. Yeah, for sure. Like they're getting paid and leaving. So,
but then so do the agents. So the agents are like, wait, I'm not getting free like horse vaccines anymore. I'm out of here. Like that's why I was here. And so, I think that's tough. Again, like the copycats are, and I don't necessarily say copycat disparagingly because again, EXP created a new category. In fact, I think if you're starting a nationwide brokerage, what would hope to scale to a nationwide brokerage today, and it doesn't have revenue share and it doesn't have equity, like I don't even understand how you're in the game.
Right. Yeah.
Like you're actually not in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
well, and the people that I worry about the most are the mom and pop brokerages that have so much liability. They're not making any money. They're not able to offer the tech that they need to offer their people. Like they love their people, but they're just stuck in this model that's not serving them very well. And it's not serving their people. And those are the ones I think they're having the hardest time or I'm most worried about. Kevin, for you, what's been your best recruiting methodology? Has it changed at all over the years? And what do you do to keep people? But first I want to hear about your best recruiting methodology. How do you attract?
Well, let me ask you, because I look at there's two kinds of recruiting. I look at I'm building my team, my actual sales team. That's what I mean when I say the word team. And then I think of like revenue share, what I would call my community recruiting to the brokerage. And they're wildly different. So
interesting. Why are they so different, do you think?
It's a different it's a literally different person. Like I'm not trying to recruit you, Wayne, to my team.
Right.
Like, do I have some things that I could do that might help your business? Absolutely. Do I think necessarily you and I are going to go 50-50 on all deals and things like that? And while I'm always going to try to have a world big enough that allows you to kind of see your future in it, I'm not necessarily of the belief that my team is the way to go. And therefore I'd rather partner with you in my brokerage, which is going to be a completely different conversation because that's going to be more about me helping you build your team.
Let me ask you a different question that maybe is where I'm trying to get. Like, how do you consistently get in front of and build a relationship with new people? Because like once you've kind of how do you consistently do that? Do you know what I mean with that? Because like I imagine like you come to EXP or like you're building your real estate team, you kind of talk to the people that are in your world, but then like how do you keep expanding that?
I mean, that's a challenge, dude. That's a challenge, right?
Well, that's why I came to the Oracle. This isn't about a podcast. We don't even put these on the internet. It's just Wayne asking Kevin all the questions he's trying to figure out in his life and Brad making fun of Wayne. That's what we should call this show. So
I just like a camera. Yeah. I'm just here for the camera.
I don't know. How would you consult an agent on your team about them building their sphere of influence? It's not different. The difference is that it's agents it's people with a license versus consumers who are going to buy, who you want to buy and sell with you. Yeah. And so it's the very same things. It could be like, it's not my style, but you could just like cold call people and be that type of recruiter. There's plenty of brokerages built on that, by the way. Plenty of teams built on that, by the way. Not my style, but it works if you believe in it and you do it. My style is more from number one, I try to just build relationships and then expand through those relationships. So I always want to like my sphere. If I can get my sphere to introduce me to more people in their sphere, better. Right.
Interesting.
So that's probably like my first thing, but education, man, like helping people. I feel like if I help enough people, those opportunities are going to continue to come. If I show up, to events, if I hop on a podcast, if I continue using my podcast as a way to get to know people and learn about people, like doors just open up. I think I'll go back to my natural sort of curiosity, I think is a strength of mine that helps me to do that.
Well, it sounds like it's attraction. You're not recruiting. You're trying to attract to have the conversation.
I would say
it's the nicest no I've ever gotten. That's the nicest you're wrong.
Yeah, I would say yes. And no. I don't like the word attraction, to be honest with you. No, because I view attraction as all about me. Yeah. And I actually want to make it all about you.
Yeah, I'm just saying about you traveling, giving. You give information, you give podcasts, and it might serve for me a little bit of ego because I feel like I have something to share, but it also makes people like you and they attract to you and they want to know what you know and possibly work. That's the way I look at attraction. But I think you're right. If you're inquisitive, I think your personality type, you would find that a little off.
Yeah, I don't think I'm just going to like post something on social media and people are like, damn, that guy's smart. I want to go join EXP with him.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I hear where you're coming from. I don't love that word.
Yeah. So nuts and bolts, what's been the best way you've found the right people to bring to EXP? Like, what have you done? Is that just like getting on calls? Is it looking for who to reach out to? Is it meeting people at an event and saying, hey, we should jump on a Zoom? Nuts and bolts, what's it been?
Man, it's all different. Like I'm always building my database.
Man, I can't hit this guy if I had a target on his back. I just want to know.
It's free coaching, Wayne. That's all you're trying to get is free coaching. He's gonna start charging you in a second. I'm just saying.
Dude, the reality is like I don't have like this one. I have a process I follow as I'm trying to bring people through my, I guess, quote unquote funnel for recruiting. Yeah. But I think where I might be different than a lot of people is if like when we get to the EXP conversation, if the answer is no, then you're still in my, like, first of all, I'm not trying to recruit you if I don't like you.
Right.
Like I just don't try not to hang out with assholes. And so therefore, if I like you, I like you. Right.
Yeah.
I might not be as available to you if you're not in my world, but It doesn't mean we're not friends and don't have a genuine actual relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's shifted then? Let's talk, because I think more of the 21 subscribers we have, the 20 of them are going to be actual agents. So if you're trying to recruit somebody to your team, right, and you're trying to recruit somebody, because what you just said earlier is like you and your partner decided to go all in on recruiting. So the one question I have is, do you find quote unquote slower times, which is debatable if this is a slower time, to double down and grow? Or is it to circle the wagons, refine your process, and do more production per agent? What's your thought on that?
Well, I think productivity per agent is mostly bullshit, personally. That's been my experience. Don't get me wrong. We work on per person productivity from a standpoint of like, we're always trying to help our agents skill up and get better and but it's been so long. I don't want to say never. A long time ago, I realized that was bullshit. And the reason why I decided that was bullshit is because I decided I have my goals and everybody else has their own goals too. And if their goals aren't big enough for me to reach my goals, I just need more people. So I better just go figure out how to get more people. And I don't, this could sound cold. I don't give a shit if everybody like, if I want to sell, I don't know, let's say I wanted to sell 100 houses a year and I can't seem to get anybody who sells more than 2 houses a year around me. That's fine. I just got to go find 50 people. I don't actually care. If that's enough to make them happy, and in their world, then great. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm always going to teach to the highest common denominator in the room.
Yep.
I'm always going to help people get better because I do want to see the person go from 2 deals a year to 10 deals a year to 100, to 50 deals a year, whatever. But I don't know, man. I feel like you should always be doing those things, right? It's really easy in a good market to not worry about, I say good market, in a higher volume market, to just not worry about the skills and or not recruit. And I think I literally think you should always be recruiting.
For sure. Do you feel like a lot of team leaders don't really care about the per person production because you only have so much juice in that lemon to squeeze, right? So it's like you sell 10, I don't really care because if you sell 12, I don't make any more money. Whereas somebody like an independent like me, I'm like, yeah, every deal counts, a little more.
No, I make more money on my team because I'm getting yes, dude. There's some people that are like cold and like just see their people as a number. And then there's other people that are just like way too fucking touchy feely. And that's all they care about. If you understood business, you would like care less about that. Like, great that you improve your per person productivity by 0.25 deals a year. Like
Right.
That doesn't matter.
Right.
And here's what I do know from having scaled the team before to big numbers and seen big brokerages. I've owned a franchise as well. I've seen a lot of numbers for all brokerages. And here's something I believe. I believe that at a certain point, you're the average when you get to a certain size, and that average is about half a deal per person per month, which is great, by the way, because I can make that work. I can do the math on that.
Yeah, that's fair. I think, yeah, that's a good point.
How would you describe your leadership style, and what have you maybe had to change or get better at? Has there been any big shifts in how you've led or how you've been a leader over the years? Or
For sure. I've never thought about my leadership style. I'm normally pretty informal. That said, I think one of the things that I have changed is I've gotten even more direct. So I've always been kind of a coach, like not coach. I don't like the word coaching, but I've been definitely a teacher, if you will, and mentor to people. And one of the things I've had to do is to just be way more direct, like still be caring, but be very direct with people. Like today, like I'll tell you, like today and tomorrow in 2 hours, I've got an appointment with a newer agent on the team that is not doing what she said she was going to do when I hired her. It's going to be a very direct conversation, and I'm going to coach her up or coach her out. She's going to get one of those two options. And I've got another appointment with another new agent on the team tomorrow that it's going to be the exact same conversation.
what does that sound like in the beginning?
Fuck, dude, I don't know, because it's probably going to sound very abrupt, unfortunately, but here's the deal. Like, I'm doing this because I care both about my business and hers. And so it's just going to look like, hey, Wayne, do you remember when we sat down prior to you joining the team? We talked about your goals, which was XYZ, which I have, by the way, because I do care about what people's goals are. I want to make sure if they're with me that I'm helping them get closer to it. And then it's going to be about, do you remember what you promised me? And you made me these 3 promises. How do you think you're doing on those?
Not so great. I mean, I've been really trying. It's just been a lot harder than I thought. And, I got kids and everything else.
Awesome. So I totally respect that. Life happens, Wayne. What's changed since the day we talked about this and you committed to doing those 3 things when you joined the team?
That's such a good question. It's just harder than I thought. And it's been hard to like keep my schedule and get the kids places. And it's just been harder than I thought it was going to be, I guess. I don't know.
All right. I get that. Yeah, it's hard. This is definitely hard. It's a simple business, but it's hard for sure. It's hard work. Let me ask you this way, Wayne. Are you still committed to that? Like, are you committed to reaching your goals and doing what we talked about last month when you joined the team?
I mean, I really want it.
Okay. But great that you want it. Are you committed to it?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I really want it. I want to figure out how to make it happen. Yeah.
But are you committed to it?
I guess I need to go back over those 3 things and just see if they're doable because I think I am.
Okay. Well, as a reminder, the 3 things were show up every day before 9 a.m. for the huddle, make 100 calls a day, and that 1,000 dial day that we talked about.
Yeah.
Right. Are you committed to that?
I don't know. It's really hard. It's a lot.
What I'm hearing is that you're not committed to it. Is that accurate?
You're probably right. Yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean,
Dude, nothing wrong with that, by the way. But as I told you, like that's the minimum requirement to be a part of this team. So it sounds to me like you've decided to explore other opportunities outside of our team. Am I hearing that right way?
I mean, I don't think I thought about it that way, but I mean, I think you're probably right. I mean, just 100 contacts a day is a lot. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just not for me.
Cool. Nothing wrong with that. I'll tell you what, I'll get stuff started on the back end, paperwork wise. I'm here for you. If you ever need anything in the future, if you need some advice, let's stay friends and stay in touch, but I'll get to work on the offboarding stuff. Okay.
Dude, so good. So good. I love it. I mean, I think that your way to care and be clear is beautiful. You know what I mean? And I think one of the things I love you didn't do there is like you didn't jump in to save me when it got a little weird. Right? Like most leaders want to jump in like, well, I can help you. Like, what if I showed you a way? What if I did this? What if I helped with this? What if like that's the natural inclination for a lot of people is like to jump in and save that person. And then you're denying reality. And so good.
That's what I used to do, man. I wanted to drag everybody to success.
Yeah.
And because I would see how good they could be.
Yes.
And then I just decided to like, I can't do that. Like that's tiring for me.
Yeah. That's why I call it dragging people to the top. I'll help you get to the top of your mountain. Like whatever that is, 10 deals, 12 deals, 300, I'll help you. I'm not dragging your ass. I've got my own mountain I'm climbing. I'm not dragging you to the top. And that's been a good analogy for me to pay attention to when I'm doing one-on-ones with my agents.
Yeah. And by the way, I rarely do one-on-ones. I don't like them.
Oh, really?
Everything's in a group for me. Yeah.
Is it for time savings?
And emotional energy. Like I just don't have the agents that are killing it on the team. I want to hang out with them and I'm always willing to help them. But like, I don't sit down and do formal one-on-ones. I feel like it's a waste of my time and theirs.
Yeah, I do. So I'm curious. This is a really inquisitive question. There's no direction to it. I do one-on-ones with all my agents once a month, 30 minutes, an hour. It's typically when I find out they're pregnant or something's happening.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm such passing in the night between other offices and other businesses that they don't get that one-on-one connection. And I question it a lot. Like, is it the highest and best use of my time for 30 hours a month plus to sit and talk? Or is that a great investment on my side to keep the connection that I may not see them for 2 weeks straight because, they may work in a different city. So I don't know. I debate that a lot. So that's interesting to hear how you say that.
Yeah, I could, by the way, I think that's probably valuable. I just don't want to spend that much time in my real estate business.
Right. What do you want to spend your time in? What are you enjoying? What is real estate turned into for you or opened opportunities for you?
I mean, there's other businesses for sure. And I spend a certain amount of time with my group as well. But dude, I've got young kids. I've got a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old. And by the way, when they get out of school in a month from today, like we're taking off on a 2-week trip and then we're coming home for a couple of weeks and then we're leaving them for another month. Like when they're out of school, I'm basically out of work. Like I'm going to spend time with my family and enjoy that. And real estate, again, my business is a tool for me. And I want to help you make it a tool for you too, but it's going to be on my terms.
So it's amazing that you say this, and I'm asking for a friend here, but Wayne and I have we have a coaching cohort that we do, and we just helped one of our members. I think she's doing it, taking 6 months off of her brokerage that she owns. So my question to you and people listening is, how did you set yourself up? And I know it took years and years to get to the point where you could walk away for a month and not care. I just got back from 10 days in Argentina, didn't have to make a damn phone call. Closings happened. But how did you set that up? What was your intentionality to that? What was your magic pill? Was it a person? Was it a position that you had to have so you could have this ability?
Yeah, I think it's people. I think it's always people. But the thing I got good at is hiring and recruiting people, like both agents and salaried people on the team. And so building a team of badasses, right? Genuinely great people to get the job done behind the scenes, I think is super important. I would say that's probably the one thing. And it's again, it's not like I got my license 2 years ago and I'm like, man, I can't wait to get out of production. Like, that's not me. But again, like I drew a line in the sand and I said, my income's not going to be dependent upon me going and sitting in someone's living room. And that was like 11 years ago. And I meant it. And so the decisions I've made for the last 11 years, and to a degree, even the, whatever that would have been 7 years before that leading up to it, kind of laid the foundation for that.
Yeah. So give me, like Wayne's right, you're hard to pin down. Give me a tangible. Somebody wants to be their team leader. They're doing well. They want to have
how to hire. Learn how to hire people.
What do you look for?
But actually learn how to hire. Don't just be like, oh, I fucking hired this rock star. And I'm like, oh, cool. How long have they worked for you? Like 7 seconds. They're amazing. I'm like, okay, let's see what happens. Right. Like, actually go learn a process of how to hire, study it, interview hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, and actually commit to it. Just like you want to be a great listing agent, go on a couple hundred listing appointments and get better every one. Right? Same way for hiring. What happens is people go, they don't want to do that part of team building. They can bring in agents because they feel like my system is going to make them better. Bullshit. And then they feel like if I just bring in enough leads, okay. Yeah, but that's not going to work. And if it does for a little while, it's luck. And so I firmly believe you got to hire great people, and you've got to consistently challenge yourself in the things that you think are true, and it changes.
So if somebody wanted to hire, right? It's a tough market for some. They want to hire somebody to help them take over their team leadership role or whatever it is, but they can't afford it. Do you have any little ideas that could help them?
Yeah, wait till you can afford it. Like, that's fucking stupid. That's lazy as shit. Like, sell some more real estate and have a cushion before you do that.
That's awesome. I love that.
That person has no business hiring somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Here's my question. Rapid fire. What's 1 or 2 books you've read that other people should read?
Business wise?
Life wise, kid wise, any wise?
Bro, you just opened 2 books. Don't try to pin me down to 2 books. Fuck you.
I know.
All right. Business book.
Do you know what book I just put on my list this morning? Let's get real weird.
Kama Sutra.
No, well, basically, this guy's like, bro, this book you have to read. It's called She Comes First, and it's about exactly what you think it's about. So that's next on my list. These are the kind of coaching calls I have, man. It gets weird. You should
have called me years ago, dude. I'd have just given you the Cliff Notes. No. So I think it depends on where you're at. In my opinion, the best business book I've read is a book called The Road Less Stupid by Keith Cunningham.
I love that book. I think maybe you told me about that book. I read that book. I
probably did, dude.
I gave it to everybody I know. God, I love that book. Yes. Yeah. So good.
It's so amazing. I think that's the best business book I've ever read. I love the book 48 Laws of Power. I know that has a bad rap from a lot of people because they see it as they think it's written as a how-to instead of a warning, but it's a warning. Like, I'm super interested in human behavior and why we do things that we do. And that book is truly about human behavior. And so that to me is it's a foundational book. I think there's another book, a great book called Thinking in Bets by Annie Duke. And she's written other books since then, but this one was by far her best. And that's just
Bets
really
like
about
BETS.
Yeah, like, because she's a professional poker player.
Okay.
And so it's like literally thinking in bets, because it's all about percentages. A lot of people, what happens is we make decisions based on like the 2 experiences we have, and we assume that's true, that if we made the same decision 1,000 times, we think we would always get that. So we make these decisions based on this little sliver of experience we
Teeny
have,
tiny.
rather
Yeah.
than on thousands and thousands of decisions that have actually been made that are exact same. And so we let that shape what we think we believe, and it's total bullshit.
Damn, that's so good. What's 1 or 2 best things you've done? Like experiences or gone to, or things you've done or put yourself in.
I mean, work-wise, I'm constantly putting myself around bigger thinkers, people that are doing more than me. Not from a standpoint of like, ooh, I just want to admire them for doing that, but because like I want to learn what they're thinking and what they're doing.
Yeah.
Or how they're thinking.
But that's one of the things I love about you is like you're so good at not just getting the solution, but you're so good at asking people questions to help figure out like how they think. Like I want to know more. Like I'm praising for you, but I think you're great at going like, I believe your mindset is I want to know how you're thought about this and what your thinking is, less about like the actual decision. Like the decisions are going to come and go, but like why, how, what was the pathway that, and I think you're so good at like figuring that out, which has been really, really interesting to watch.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Is I'm like looking for the pattern and the thought process way less than I'm looking at the decision. It's kind of like, dude, like I teach my agents, like the outcomes are the outcomes, and we don't actually control that. We control our activities. So let's like focus on the activities of what we're doing. And if the outcomes aren't as good as we want them to be, that's cool. If we actually know what the activities are, we know where to get better. It's not that hard. So I kind of want to know how you got there. Like if you just tell me like, dude, I closed 15 deals, but I really wanted to close 24. It doesn't really tell me what I need to know.
Right.
What is the, what's the legacy you want to leave? What do you want to be remembered for? What's the impact you want to make?
I don't kid myself. I don't think that I'm going to be remembered for a long time. I don't think anybody is. However, that said, something I wrote down in 2007, and I think is still true to this day, is I want to make people feel like they're better off for having known me.
Yep.
And if I could just keep it at that, I'm probably doing good.
Yep. So good.
What to get off a little deep topic? Geez, can we talk about where you think real estate agents should pivot or have a makeover in their business right now if they got into it in 21, 22 kind of thing? Because I think a lot of people are losing their shit right now.
Yeah, well, they are. First of all, they need a reality check.
True.
Right? If they don't have a coach, I think if you don't have a coach and you're not hitting a goal, you're pretty fucking stupid, in my opinion. Like,
why is that? What is it specifically about having a coach that's important?
I believe we need an outside viewpoint. And I believe we need to write a check for it. Otherwise, we don't value it.
Yeah, agreed.
And so having a reality check is one. And then actually doing something about, like actually just having a reality check, I think is the most powerful thing that we can do. Most people are afraid to even become aware. They have, like, you've heard of FOMO, fear of missing out. My buddy Dustin says this thing, FOFO, fear of finding out. I don't want to find out. And I think all humans to a degree have FOFO about certain things in their life. And anybody who got in the business in, let's say, the last 4 years probably has FOFO about what they're truly doing these days to find business.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's so true. And I think the other thing you've done great at is like get in the room. Like your mastermind is phenomenal, right? Like get in some of those rooms because I think it was Eleanor Roosevelt that said like you don't have enough time to learn on your own. You better learn from other people. And like get in the room. Like you said, like pay to get in the room. Go get in the room, get there early, shake hands, stay late. Like I think that's such a huge part of it. Needs to happen.
I've got 2 other questions that are a little potpourri-ish, but I think you made a significant move years ago from your previous company to this one. I've done a couple of those. A lot of people think it's an easy transition. Is there anything that, even though it might be for the better that you made the move for sure, but what snuck up on you? What didn't you know that you thought you knew, or you didn't know that you would warn people, hey, move's good, but just watch these?
Well, I mean, I think it's messy no matter what. So just like deal with it. Don't be such a bitch. Like deal with it. But the biggest mistake I made in that move was I tried to keep it a secret. And I should have been more proactive about not keeping it a secret from a standpoint of recruiting and bringing people with me.
Fair. That's a
Interesting.
good one.
Yeah.
And then I have a couple offices in different states. Similarly, I've learned a lot of humble pie recently and life lessons, right? What are if you were talking to somebody and they're like, hey, I want to do the same thing, what would be some yellow flags you would throw, being like, hey, not necessarily don't do it, but here's what you need to know?
Well, so what I found is anybody that ambitious, myself included, typically doesn't listen anyways. So just give them a pat on the back and tell them you're rooting for them. And that said, dude, it is so much harder than it sounds and looks once you get in there. And it's all about the people. Like if you don't have the right people, it doesn't matter. Everything else is going to fall apart. So go back to the same thing, the same principle for having a really amazing single location business, which is understand how to identify, hire, and retain amazing people. And I know that sounds so cliche, but nobody spends any time on it. We'll go on 1,000 listing appointments and get great at that. But like, we won't do 1,000 interviews. What the fuck is that about?
Yeah. Yeah. I found one of the mistakes is being a little bit desperate and taking people you shouldn't have taken.
Yeah. Don't ignore the red flags. Don't ignore a red flag. Like the thing is anytime someone who's ever was a really bad hire, I think it's a good exercise to go, which red flag did I ignore? Did I pretend like wasn't there? Because there was some, I promise. Yeah. If you had a process, if you actually have a process and followed it, you ignored a red flag. I ignored a red flag along the way because I thought I could compensate for it or I just pretended like I didn't see it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm preaching to the choir on that one. I feel that. How have you found to keep your teammates engaged in your brand? And loyalty is a hard word, but wanting to stay with you instead of doing other stuff.
So I don't think of my brand. I actually think of it as their business. And so I think us as agents, I think we're over infatuated with our brand. And I think our brand is for other agents personally. I don't actually think the consumers give a shit.
Right.
And so what I believe, going back to my favorite business book that I mentioned, one of the things I learned from Keith Cunningham was like, you really want to build culture. Like culture isn't like beanbags and arcade games and free snacks. You want to build culture in a sales organization, have an amazing administrative staff that supports them and treat them so good that they would never leave you. Because I promise, like, dude, if I showed you my roster and the average number of years that our agents have been with us, you wouldn't even believe it. But the reality is we figured that out. It was 2019 when I met Keith Cunningham. And that was the biggest lesson I took away from him. And I'm like, we had and really loved our number one main employee. And we just decided like, whatever she needs for her life and her job to be easier and better, we're doing. And I know that we retain people because we retain her. I know that. I don't think for a second. And I try to bring value to them too. Don't get me wrong. I'm tripping over myself trying to help them get better. However, I don't think for a second that if we lost her, we would lose a lot of other people.
Yeah. People like to use staff, and they like to pay them. They like to get cheap staff and they use them like a rented mule, right? And not everything can be it's bad.
People try to get away with paying the least. I think just try to get away with paying the most.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. All right.
Dude, I love it. All right. Last question, unless Brad has one. What are you most proud of? And what do you want to be celebrating a year from now?
Most proud of is like my kids, for sure. I don't know if you meant in general or if you meant business, but in general, it's my kids.
So let me ask one more question. What are you most proud of that's led to being proud of your kids? Like, what do you think you've done great as a dad?
I'm not sure I'm great at any part of it, but I try to be consistent. Here's the decision I made. I made a decision when my oldest was born that for the most part, this is not to say I don't travel and that I don't have work dinners, but I am there in the morning and I am there at dinner time. And it is rare if I'm in town, it is rare that I'm not there at dinner time. Like less than once a month am I missing dinner and bedtime routine with the kids.
That's so cool. I mean, that literally gives you goosebumps because I know how hard that's fucking been over the last decade. And like, that's beautiful, dude. Seriously.
When I travel for work, I am in and out as fast as I can get away with.
Amen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I miss out a little bit on the work stuff because I'm in a hurry, but it's just, I love my family more than I love my business. So that.
And you act accordingly. right?
Yeah, for
Like a lot of
sure.
people say it, but they don't act accordingly. So seriously, from me to you, I'm proud of you for that, because I know that has not probably always been easy by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, it's for sure. It's counterintuitive, especially like if you're a driver and like you have goals, like it's definitely counterintuitive. Second question is what do I want to be celebrating in a year?
Yeah.
And I could just use some like a really calm year of like steady growth and I could use a boring year. You and I have talked a lot offline, Wayne. As you know, there's just been a lot of personal stuff
Yeah.
going on. And so I could use a boring year. I would celebrate that at this point.
Hey, man.
I would truly celebrate that. Like I've learned to just appreciate stuff like that in life. And maybe that's just because I'm old, but you know, that's truly where I'm at.
It's a beautiful place where you can figure out the cadence of kicking ass and taking names, like having fun growing and having peace at the same time. Like you can do that and it doesn't have to be chaotic all the time. Like there's moments, but it doesn't have to be crisis. It can still be beautiful and growing and impactful. And it's cool to get to a place where you can kind of start to see and feel what that can look like.
For sure.
Love it. Love you, dude. Proud of you.
Love you, brother.
Appreciate you. Thank you for all you do for me as a friend and for our community as a whole. Because the impact, the ripple effect of you and what you've done over the last 10 years is bigger than I bet you'll ever imagine. And it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So thank you for that.
Appreciate that, dude. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Thanks for doing it.